But what is scary to people that there's nothing and no awareness, or that there is awareness that can't attach to anything?
I'm more scared of the awareness part, huh?
Yeah, probably, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what meditation yoga shows you how to
Deal with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because meditation, you enter states at times where that sense of familiarity and continuity disappear, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do people enter that state when they meditate?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But because you're meditating, you're doing something,
Yeah.
you approach that state with willingness.
Mm-hmm.
And so if actually it begins to occur, you accept it rather than begin to
Yeah.
grab onto
As the
objects.
fake idea that you're doing it.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like a...
That
so
kind of
you still
guides
kinda
you
have
for a while.
control.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But in deep meditation, you don't have a sense you're doing it. So it's like entering into the death state consciously rather than unconsciously. So if there's really no such thing as consciousness or awareness, how does anything operate, right? How is anything happening
Mm-hmm.
without awareness? Awareness has to attach itself, right, to something. In this play, in
Yeah.
this realm.
To experience being aware.
Meditation is the opposite, where it detaches from this, and you're just awareness. You're not you trying to be your awareness, you just are awareness. So that would be like the perfect witness. Instead of you attach to something, someone, some object, some idea, and go with it. You don't attach to anything, you're just aware. And what if you're just awareness and there are no objects or thoughts arising? Nothing arises. That's deep sleep. That's what, no objects, thoughts, dreams happen. That's deep sleep. That's why that part of the sleep is the most refreshing.
You return to the... Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like stepping back when you dream. So like this, and then the dream when you experience...
Dreams are
and
you're
then the
working
what?
out all your problems here
Yeah.
and figuring out, you might be getting new inspiration, new ideas, how to make all this work out better for you. But deep sleep is where there's no work.
Yeah.
There's just awareness. But you're not self-aware.
When you die, do you have that at all? That's what I was wondering. Like, I mean, it seems like if you die traumatically, you're still active in your mind. You're not necessarily falling asleep, but do you enter that kind of depth for a period of time, and then it begins to sort of do exactly what it would do as if you were asleep? Like, it begins to unfold when you begin to have dreams.
Did you ever go unconscious, like fall down and go unconscious or get sick? What happened then?
Well, I'm thinking about when they put me out
Okay.
in surgery.
Okay.
I'm gone, and I love that.
Well, probably gonna induce a kind of deep
Yeah.
state, like that's kind of equivalent to a deep sleep state.
Mm.
But when you wake up, once you're in the surgical bed and the surgery's over, what does that feel like? Right before you're waking up.
Slowly coming back, slowly attaching to
Yeah.
everything again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless you're in pain. If I wake up and I'm in pain immediately, that's a shock.
Every down.
But that's not the same as, like, say, getting hit by a truck. You know, I get slammed by a truck, or is it? You know, is
I don't
it?
know, when I got concussed, I was aware.
Well, for me,
Like,
okay.
When
Yeah,
I got
okay.
concussed, that jumping in the water, I was aware. Like, I saw, like, kind of like my body, and then I saw another way to go, and I was completely aware of it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and then I just kind of was feeling like the area of not, you know, the choice A, which is not my body, would seem like light, and the title felt good, so I was kind of going towards that. And then my body was over there, and then when I was on that, it was kind of like, ow, you know?
Did anybody have that experience?
Yeah.
When you pass out? And,
You see my body, I passed out and then saw my body,
mm-hmm.
and same thing, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw the tunnel.
Okay. Well, people who do conscious dreaming can fall asleep and see their body in bed and say, okay, what am I going to do now? And let's go to the Himalayas or whatever they feel like doing, or let's fly around or whatever. They make up a choice of what they'd like to do. So, same way in the physical, you can say, I feel like going somewhere. Where am I going to go? Take out a map and look around and figure out what you want to do, right? But so, see, everybody has some evidence, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's nobody who really doesn't completely know something about this.
Right.
But they're not looking at their own evidence.
Right.
And they're acting like they don't know, or it's just nothing, or they have some idea given to them by somebody else,
Right.
But you have your own experiences, and you have your own evidence if you want to examine it,
Mm-hmm.
if you want to look at it. You
Mhm.
do have it. So all of you meditate, right?
Mm-hmm.
So in meditation, that's entering into a more and more subtle state of awareness. And when you die, you're dropping the awareness of this physical life and this identity, and you are going to a more subtle state of awareness. Right? So you have evidence. What happens when you're in deep sleep? You have evidence.
Mhm.
You have evidence of the non-identity of holding on to something here. What exists besides experiencing here and being an identity here? You have some evidence, but nobody is looking at their own evidence and forming their own kind of like way to travel with it, way to
Mhm.
understand it and move with it or
Mhm.
investigate it.
Mm-hmm.
If you were to investigate it yourself, how would you investigate it? Anybody have any ideas?
Mhm.
Just gonna tell you that. How would you investigate this? Like what, where would I go if I'm dead, or do I go? What is my awareness if I don't are not animating a body anymore? Is there an awareness? Or only dependent on the brain? Is it only dependent on the body?
Mm-hmm.
You must ask some of those questions,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
Okay.
Like Neil said, when I wake up from the dream state, and then I have a sense of wasn't that good dream,
Mm-hmm.
and then the thought of like if I dying that way, I'd be confused kind of state, where am I?
Okay, and let me say, have you meditated and had some bad thoughts and kept going with them? Like,
Yeah.
oh, that guy, he's gonna hurt me, I know it.
Yeah, I
Every time he
did.
looks at me, I'm scared.
Mhm,
And you
I
keep,
did.
but you're supposed to be meditating.
Right.
Okay, so, but you're following those thoughts and you're imagining this fear.
Mhm.
You're creating this, you're going over it and over it.
Right.
Because you're trying to solve it.
Right.
That's why you're creating these thoughts and you're going over it, because you're trying to solve it.
Yeah. Okay.
So in dreams, that's what you're doing.
Yeah.
You have something you're upset or fearful of, that is bothering you, and you're trying to problem solve it. So if you sit down and meditate, some people call meditation. They have this idea that you should problem solve these things, these thoughts that come up. My is you should understand awareness itself and find out what awareness is
Yeah.
instead of pursuing that. You can problem solve at any time you want. You can sit down and think things through, or what you're afraid of, or what you're happy about, and try to make that part of your life, or get it out of your life. So when you wake up from a bad dream, what happened with your awareness?
Yeah. I feel confused. Like
What happened?
What happened?
Yeah.
I'm not there anymore,
Okay.
but I'm here now.
Okay.
But when I thought of dying, in that that state,
You're thinking of you're having a dream that you're dying?
no, when I think of that, right after your body's drop dead,
Mm-hmm.
and then I think dream state. Then just to have this bad quality of dream goes on. Then it just I feel the fear of that kind of death right after.
That you would have a bad idea when you die.
Yeah.
But why would you have a bad idea when you die?
Well,
You
because
don't have to work that out. You don't have to work out anything anymore.
That's, okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So
What would it be a bad idea that you would have and then you died?
well. Just the awareness of dreaming the patterns, it's not always good.
No, you're making it so vague so you don't
Yeah.
have to understand it. See, you're not doing your own investigation.
Okay.
What idea would you not want to die with? Because you have control over your thoughts and your feelings.
True.
So what idea?
Unconscious.
So what
Yeah.
idea you don't want to have and then you drop dead? What idea is that?
Like I'm completely feel lost and then confused.
So you don't want to
and-
die feeling completely lost and
Yes.
confused. Okay.
Yeah.
They don't have to
any-
be.
It's true.
It's up to you. So if you know what you don't want,
Mm-hmm.
you can have what you want. What do you want? Okay, so you know what you don't want, so you're not going to choose that.
Mhm.
It's not going to just randomly happen to you.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah.
Things only randomly happen to you because you're not choosing.
I see.
So if you say, I don't want to choose that,
Right.
then even if it comes to you,
Right.
it won't stick. So what do you want to have
It's
happen before
more
you die?
consciously.
Okay,
I
and
can
what,
able to choose.
okay, what do you want to choose?
I want to go toward like a light.
So you say, I want to see the light.
Light.
Okay, well then
Yeah.
you'll have that experience. It's up to you.
Right.
You're creating your life and you're
Yeah.
creating your death.
Meditation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But whatever you choose, that's what you're going to get. But you have to stick up for what you choose.
I see.
So if you choose something and then you're not willing to participate in it,
Right.
you have to check it out, right? So, oh, I choose to go to San Francisco.
Right.
And you keep telling everybody that. And
Right.
then after time goes on, people say, well, how was San Francisco? And you say, well, I choose to go. And they say, you haven't gone yet?
Yeah.
See, they expect something to happen
Right.
when you choose something, right?
Nothing happened then.
Okay, so is
Yeah,
that
I
helpful?
understand.
Because
yes, thank
you seem like you're afraid that your death's going to be some random crazy thought that's
Yeah.
going to confuse you.
I guess it comes to the point it's like I have no control over, or something. But you're saying I can consciously choose to train.
Once you're in the experience,
Uh-huh.
if you really chose it, then you'll participate happily.
Oh, that's good.
Right.
If you didn't choose it and
Right.
some experience starts to happen,
Uh-huh.
you're going to be confused about what are you doing there and why are you there and
Right.
do you like it or what. But if you say I want to choose the light, and then when you die you choose the light and you see the light, other people could say, "What's that light doing here? I don't like it. Get it out of here." I don't know, right?
Yeah.
Because like
Yeah.
I said, if you don't investigate your own consciousness,
Right.
you don't investigate your own life and what happens. You think when you go into deeper, you might as well ask yourself, what happens when I go deep sleep every night?
Yeah.
You're completely unaware of your body. Anybody can come in the room,
Yeah.
do anything, and not saying particularly to you, but you're just out. You ever been in a room with someone who's in a deep sleep
Mm-hmm.
and you're just going around rattling the dishes or whatever, and you don't think bad of them. You think, oh, good, they're really sleeping well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So that state where you're completely non-responsive to any dreams, any thoughts, any
Right.
ideas, any feelings, any physicality, you actually, feel good about that state, and you feel good about other people being in that state. So you should feel good about people dying
Yeah.
and you dying
Positive.
because you're going to be in that state.
Right.
We gotta go there to get energy.
But you feel good about it because it's refreshing. But what if that person never came out of that state? Their body's not really dead, they're just in deep sleep.
Uh-huh.
You'd be concerned, right? You get concerned after. Yeah. So it's like deep sleep is like a temporary death or a temporary
Mm-hmm.
oasis,
Mm-hmm.
where you get refreshed without any requirements for attention to go somewhere and to think about something or do something or problem solve or get fulfilled.
Mm-hmm.
So you go there every night, but you always come back.
Come back.
You always come back. You ever wake up and go, wow, I came back?
Yeah.
Oh, you had
Kinda
that feeling.
download who you are.
Yeah, and then go, okay.
Oh, here I am. Yeah. What am I doing? Oh, I gotta do this and this, and then everything starts running again.
Yeah, so that's going on automatic again. Yeah, so like I said, everybody can investigate this and have a real answer for themselves. And their experiences of being awake, of being aware, of living, of meditating, of dreaming, of sleeping, there's enough information in your own life to help you understand this. So you don't have to be, I don't know.
Right.
Well, these are the most important
Yeah.
questions in your life that you should want to investigate.
Yeah.
You can go to Christianity or Buddhism and take their answers, or you can find out your own answer based on that you actually are alive having this experience where your awareness shifts from physical life, physical objects, to subtle objects, to a deep sleep state where there's no awareness of objects anymore. And then you meditate, so that's the process of trying to enter into an object-free or thought-free state, right?
Yes.
So what does that all show you about your investigation? So if someone meditates, should have some investigation about death, don't you think?
Yeah.
So if you investigate it yourself, the answers are there for you, and you can choose how to proceed if you want to. But why don't people have an investigation?
Don't take
Just go with the
responsibility.
distraction.
It's up to you to find out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't take
Yeah.
responsibility for it.
Distracted.
Yeah.
They want somebody else to have figured it out for them.
Yeah. And so like this guy, you
You're going
know,
to read about it.
yeah, you can read about it, or you can, saying since science hasn't proven it, but I haven't talked. It'd be like saying, oh, there's no enlightened people in the world. I haven't talked to everybody or investigated everybody to find out if there is or not, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can go into a big room and say, thousands of people can be there and say, and it's a football game, so you assume everybody's a football fan. But what if somebody's a really great musician or great artist there? You don't know it, right?
Right.
How do you know these things?
The Earth cookie flat.
Except we keep falling off.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So how do we know? So when they say there's no evidence, there is evidence in each person's life.
Mm.
And the evidence is your process and understanding,
Yes.
what your awareness is. So what was your awareness before you said, well, I'm someone 65 or 13, or what was it when you were just like her age? What was it like? She doesn't have a big story yet,
Yeah.
right? So what is it like? What is awareness?
It's kind of,
It's her developing a capacity to function in the physical, right?
Mhm.
That's what she's occupied with. Yeah. So, what are you guys occupied with? Yeah? She's occupied with your leg?
trying to get her pinky.
Pacifier that's under the leg.
Anybody think they can investigate this themselves?
Yeah.
Yes.
They feel capable of it? So, why don't you ask yourselves questions, and have an investigation. And if anybody has done a good job with it or would like to share it next week, and do that.
Cool.
Ask your own questions and see what has proceeded in your investigation. But it's your life. It's going to be your death. So what do you know about it? Do you need someone to tell you what your death is about?
No.
So what do you think? What do you think? You're 13. Yeah. So if, because people your age do die. So what do you think it's like for someone your age to die? Say through accident or illness?
I don't know. Really.
The same question for everybody. Doesn't matter the age, does it? Yeah. But did you ever really think about it?
Yeah.
Yeah. And what came up when you started thinking about it?
Just like it's like it feels like without the filters of the body and the mind, without the things to sense and experience, it's just kind of open. It's nothing to bounce off of.
I think there's fear attached to it.
Yeah, so you
Because
think
people
like,
don't want to
okay.
think about it.
Yeah. If your thought can go out to another thought right now, would you get afraid?
No.
When you wake up from deep sleep and you don't know where you are, do you get a little afraid?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of like
It's like I'm not afraid.
Funny.
I think when you're younger, you're in this, you accept more that you're in this constant state of not knowing things because you're constantly being, it's reinforced that you don't know.
Yeah.
And then when you get older and you feel like you know more things, it can be scary to know fear, like you're saying, that there's something that you don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And you've lived your whole life trying to know something, but still there's that one thing that you haven't figured out yet.
I still don't know anything,
Yeah.
really.
Well, that's the difference between a baby and an adult. Is the ego is formed to believe it knows
Yeah.
something. Yeah.
It's in control.
Yeah. Well, we want to be in control because we could die. We want to be able to sustain our lives because we can die. But what if nobody had a fear of death? Everybody said, oh, who cares? Would you respond to life differently, you think?
Yeah.
Definitely.
So you do a lot more what you wanted and a lot less what you didn't?
Just follow what you wanted.
Yeah.
You know what video games are, right?
What's that?
And that video games people do.
What about video games?
Like you not actually dying, but you can go risk and like try different things and try different adventures, and nobody's fearing that
Mhm.
what's really happening to their physical form.
Yeah. Mhm.
So they take more risks.
Well, you know, there's a thing like people have this superstition that if you get killed in a dream, you won't wake up in your bed. It's
I
not
heard
true.
that too.
I got killed in a dream.
Yeah, you can get killed all the time in a dream.
Yeah.
Or you can kill someone too.
The bullet I saw.
So
the
wake
bullet
up and not
coming.
be a bad person.
It's a good way to try it out.
Has anybody practiced their death in dreams?
Not consciously.
Consciously, I've died.
I surrendered to someone trying to kill me in a dream.
Yeah, okay, then you died.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna kill someone in a dream, but instead I cut the dream, and that surprised me.
You cut the dream so the dream disappeared.
Yeah, the dream disappeared,
Okay.
and I was like, oh, okay.
That's another way to do it. Yeah.
Mhm.
I drove off the lake bed and remember seeing myself from above.
Mhm.
I got shot in the forehead. I was going around telling my friends, call 911. They were telling me, no, you're dead.
Why would we do that?
You're dead,
I'm
yeah.
gonna pay for the.
And you could say, I'm in a dream.
Yeah.
Call the 911 astral guys.
Call 911.
It's 900, I think. or something.
It's 00000.
000. So you think you can investigate it?
Yeah.
Yeah, why not? Yeah. And Pat, you're the oldest, and you can investigate it?
Oh, yeah.
Was there a certain age where you felt like, oh, I know things now?
I think we call that
12.
adulting.
Adulting.
Nobody feels they know things now? No?
Well,
Yeah.
just life stuff.
Life stuff.
And a mistake.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Is anybody absolutely certain about anything?
I'm certain about you.
Enough,
You
yeah.
are. Love.
That's sweet.
Yeah.
I'm certain that you all are consciousness itself. So what are you certain about, Neil?
What's your lie?
Oh, and I'm certain that about you, but you're not consciously aware of it. So, yep, the path of awakening. Start dreaming. How would you dream your awakening? Because I've said that.
Wondering I
You
was
dream it.
wondering that. So,
How do you do it? How do you dream your awakening?
yeah. That was
Never afraid.
Never afraid.
Mm-hmm.
And if afraid, face it and choose well. So choose everything that makes sense to your awakening. What makes sense in choosing your awakening? What kind of choices would make sense?
Everything that brings me closer.
Mhm.
Opens me wider.
Get you past the fear?
Gets me past the
Yeah.
fear.
Love.
Wow.
Yeah.
keeps you in fluid. Keeps
What
you
wouldn't help you?
tightening up.
Yeah.
Seeking
Down,
something, seeking
shaking.
Turns away from experience.
Too serious.
Too scared?
Too yeah.
So after these frightening experiences, did you think about death?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
What did you think, being fresh from something terrifying like that? Because that was like a doorway to an investigation, huh?
Yeah.
Did you think about it, or
I thought that, I could die if,
and what did you think about that?
I was happy I wasn't dead.
That's
Yeah.
Yeah,
About-
that's
about the
that's
short of
that's
it,
what it
yeah.
was.
That's about
But did you think then what is death?
No.
I think I ran from it.
Yeah.
Because,
I
you know,
I
like once-
recoiled from it.
Yeah, you could have died in an accident, right?
Mhm.
So
That's true.
I didn't want to think about it after that.
after that.
I
So
didn't-
that fear and that terrible, frightening experience made you not want to investigate it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just glad that that dark feeling wasn't there anymore. But I suffered it for days after, But no, I didn't investigate
Yeah.
death.
It's the idea of the pain of it, I think.
Well, because these experiences are very difficult on itself. Even recovering from them, they're very difficult. And so that fear that was generated to help you fight or run, because that's what fear is supposed to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, where do you go with it? So you just build up a philosophy or a repertoire of, I'm not going to go there.
Yeah.
I'm not going to think about. I'm not going to investigate this because when this happened, when death almost happened,
Mm-hmm.
I had to encounter this terrible dark realm.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was, it's the violence of the accident, the violence of a person. You had to encounter something very violent
Yeah.
first, and so that associated you with death. So you didn't want to investigate it,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but you still can.
Yeah.
So that
Yeah.
informed you something.
Yeah.
That gave you some information.
Well, I mean, I think
And I think one of the things you all felt was, I'm going to accept this if this is going to happen.
Yeah.
Once it
Yeah.
comes to that.
That's exactly it.
Yeah.
So I guess, when you have a traumatic experience that you recover from and you don't die, it just builds up your fear around death more.
Mm-hmm.
But interestingly enough, you all described like when you thought it was inevitable, that you accepted it. So your actual
Really did.
relationship to death, when it actually is going to occur, will be
Okay.
acceptance,
That-
not
yeah,
fear.
yeah.
But you build up a lifetime of fear around it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it's actually.
Yeah.
So I saw my mother when she was dying.
She was afraid, or
No.
No.
She was all preparing, but the night she's actually dying, she was not afraid.
there you go.
Just totally accepting it, and she was just, her body.
So are we really afraid of death, or we're afraid of suffering?
I'm afraid of suffering.
Suffering.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That gets
Right.
mixed up a lot because everybody thinks everybody's really afraid of death, so they want to investigate it. But we're actually really afraid of
Suffering.
suffering.
Yeah.
Takes the load off of death a bit, doesn't it? So you can investigate awareness, your consciousness, without fear,
Mm-hmm.
and you can also investigate your suffering and find out what you're afraid of.
Mm.
If you think you're going to suffer something, you're not going to choose suffering, are you? No. But what if it was necessary?
You'd have to do it.
You have to do it, and that's what we found out in life, that sometimes it's necessary.
Yeah.
So all this fear you have is around suffering. It's not particularly exclusively about death. It's about suffering. It's trying to make sense of suffering. You're dreaming your life. And how you dream a better life. If you're a good person, you want good things and good people, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so if you come across bad people and bad things being done to you, you have to determine that that's not going to happen.
That's not what I want.
Mm-hmm.
So bad things happen to good people so they can understand that they don't want that completely.
Mm-hmm.
They're not tempted by it ever again.
Right.
You might say, oh, I need to earn $50, but would it be easier just to rip off that $50? Right?
Mm-hmm.
And so you're basically a good person, but then you start thinking about it. And then you do it, and you get caught, and you have to go to jail for a month. So that informs a good person what?
Yeah, don't
Do
do
that.
it.
Do that.
That doesn't make sense. Don't do that.
work.
Okay. It might inform a bad person to what?
Get better.
Get
No.
sneakier.
Get sneakier. Be better at being bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, who thinks they're bad? And who thinks they're good?
No, I don't think anybody thinks they're bad.
Everybody
Andy
thinks
Brown
that there
said
was
good.
really, to me, had a really dark side, and I know he didn't think that. He thought he was humorous.
I think bad people know they're bad,
Yeah,
They're doing
Yeah.
bad shit.
but good people don't know and stand up for their goodness enough.
Yeah.
so they don't have to.
So, obviously, you're good enough, right? You feel you're good? You don't deserve to be raped? No. So why do so many people get hurt that are good?
Not standing up for it.
Kind of allowing it. And too trusting of the situation.
A lot of different reasons.
Yeah.
But once you are a good person and something bad happens to you, what should that inform you? That now you're a bad person?
No,
No.
don't
No.
value yourself.
But some
on
people
that.
take it that way, don't
Yes,
they?
yes.
Oh, yeah.
That I must be a bad person, that's why it's happening to
Yeah,
me.
exactly.
Instead of the bad people are responsible for what?
The bad.
The bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you do a bad action, you're a bad person now.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But if you get that, if you're a victim of someone doing bad, you're not a bad person now. See, people have a hard time sticking up for their goodness.
True.
You've had a hard time in your life sticking up for your goodness.
Yes.
Right. Why do you think you are interested in enlightenment? Because you're a bad person?
No.
Or completely clueless person?
No.
Okay. Why would someone be interested in enlightenment?
Because they just want to be good. Want to be good all the way.
Yeah. They want to understand the purity of,
Purity.
of goodness.
100%.
100% all the way.
Yeah.
Is that helpful to you?
Yes.
Okay. So you can own your goodness. You can own your good decisions. If you're around bad people, they don't want you to be good and make good decisions, do they?
No.
So they make you feel bad about it.
Yeah.
But if you're around good people, they go, cool,
Yeah. Good.
right?
Yeah.
Good. Yeah.
It's your circle.
Yeah.
Circle.
So, so you've been around bad people?
I have in the past.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can people tell without some being a murdering psychopath if someone is essentially living and trying to be good and sticking up for good, or if someone's bad
Yeah.
and getting away with
Oh,
stuff?
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you can
You
tell.
can sense it.
That's yeah.
Like, you know,
It's a vibe.
there can be bad people without them being murderers and rapists.
Oh, yes.
They still can be bad. How can someone be bad?
Just be willing to
Manipulative,
bash them.
lying,
Yeah.
sneaky.
They misrepresent
Lying.
themselves
Yes.
all the time.
Yeah.
Lying, yeah.
Yeah.
Manipulating everything.
Yeah.
Make people feel bad about themselves. Make
Yeah.
people feel weak so they can get something. There's all
Yeah.
kinds of ways.
There's all kinds of ways. And so you met a lot of bad people because you know all those ways, right?
Do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Enjoying being bad.
Yeah, some people enjoy being bad.
It's like they're like car
Well,
accidents.
Yeah, if bad people enjoy being bad, why can't good people enjoy being good?
There you
Yeah.
go.
There you go.
'Cause it makes them feel bad. Makes them feel bad about being bad.
Yeah, you have to come to terms if you're good, that you're going to stick up for it and that you want to find good people. A good person, like a spiritual person or somebody who loves something, wants to be around others that love
Yeah.
that. Yeah. So it makes sense for good people to find good people. You don't want to find a husband that's kind of a manipulative bad guy.
Right.
But sometimes you find that person, so what happens?
Learn.
You
You
suffer
learn.
until you decide to get out of it.
But, see, like if you end up being a victim and don't feel that you have any right to be good or that you are good,
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
That's your decision. That,
don't believe it. That's what I'm
Right.
saying. Don't believe it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what you're about.
Yeah.
Don't let anybody take that away from you. And one of the things you know about is death. The thing you mostly have to understand is your suffering. So if you suffer someone or something, right, you have to stand by your conviction of your goodness. And your goodness will teach you how to deal with suffering. Okay? But death, as we just examined, basically it's inevitable, we accept it.
Mhm.
We're not really all that
Yeah.
scared. And we all have kind of a
Yeah.
sense, even if we don't think about it or want to investigate it, that there's something about consciousness or awareness or God, without it being a person, without it being about you, without it being about somebody else, without it being about anything, that there's a reality that's bigger than what we know.
Yeah.
And this reality is your big secret. And it's what makes you good and want to be good. And meditation is that art, to study who you are that's deeper than this body that came here and started learning all this stuff and started trying to figure it out and, make do with it. And then you get to a certain age, you realize it's all leaving you, right? So what are you going to leave with? Your goodness,
Yeah.
which is your awareness. If you take away everything from everybody, they're going to feel completely victimized, right? everything that matters to them.
Mm.
They're going to feel terrible. But if they believe in their goodness,
They won't.
they won't feel that way.
Yeah.
It's like the movie you were talking about the last time on Kama Sutra. Everything's taken from her and she feels free.
She feels free.
That's how-
So that's good meditation.
Mm-hmm.
That's investigation.
Mm.
So when you have good meditation and suffering comes to you and you know your goodness still, and it even, suffering shows you the depth of your goodness.
Mm.
And meditation shows you the depth of your reality, of who reality is. So stand up for your goodness. Meditate, right?
Mm.
All right.
Thank you so much.
All right. Get it done again.
Wow.